What's going on, gamers? Here we are back for a little bit more Anvil Vault Breakers, and today I'll be going over what I believe are some of the best tier 2 relics in the game. Some of these can absolutely change your game, and the number one spot is one of the best things you could put on any build in order to survive. So if you want to see what I believe are some of the best relics, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back, you guys and girls. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon? I'll bring you all the latest and greatest content, hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of upcoming games. But for today I'm here to go over the list of tier 2 relics that I think are just absolutely exceptional and can work on so many different builds that it's well worth knowing about. So if we bop just over to here, right, kicking it off with our long range stuff, and we've got the sniper telescope. Really good one for anyone who doesn't want to get close in amongst things, doesn't want to get hit too often. This one right here will give you a big boost to your damage that's just constant with your weapons and such. So increase damage by up to 25% the further you are to the target, meaning if you're using long range weapons, if you're going down that weapon power route, this can really help you out and give you a 25% increase at all times as long as you're a significant distance away from them. Well worth having on any build where you want to stay away, stay clear of danger, and like I said, you like using your guns and such. And on the complete flip side to that, you have the Brawler's Gold Tooth. Brawler by name, Brawler by nature. If you want to be in their face, up close and personal, probably more aimed towards the tankier classes and such, this one is a perfect relic choice. Increase damage by up to 25% the closer you are to the target. Like I said, if you're playing that tankier class where you've got a guard and where you're hitting them straight up and you're very close to them at all times, this one is definitely one of the best ones you can have on your build. Well worth having for a big increase to your damage, that's going to be up constant. Next up, and we've got the Speed Magazine. This one right here is going to give you an increased attack speed of 30%. Again, great for those gun builds. Works on any build, but I find it definitely works a little bit better on those weapon builds that's further back, you're taking shots from a distance and you're trying to increase your damage and the speed at which you're firing. Really helps out a lot with your DPS and is great in pretty much most builds. Now this one is a little bit situational and probably won't be working on every single character. But if you have got a character that doesn't seem to be moving too much, the only ones that I can think of offhand is probably Toast and Shuri. Dodgegreaves can be absolutely amazing and can work in conjunction with quite a few other relics. So 10% increase to attack power and defense for every 1 second not moving, and stacks up to 10 times. Basically, if you're standing still and hitting them with your firepower, you're going to be getting a big increase to your defense and a big increase to your damage. The only thing you've got to watch out for is if the boss is going to do its nuke move. But like I said, this one can work really well if you're trying to get a significant boost to your damage, and works in conjunction with things such as the defense suit of retaliation, which is really good, giving you even more attack power because of the defense. And just over here, Dodgegreaves, 100% weapon damage increase with walk speed reduced to 0. If you've got those two on with this, it's just ridiculous. Obviously you're not going to be moving at all because you are going to be shooting or using your weapon in some way, so you won't be able to move. If you did need to move, just stop shooting and then bop around to your heart's desire. But ultimately, Dodgegreaves, like I said, not for every build, but for a build you can make work, can really make a considerable difference in your defense and your DPS. And the only thing you have to worry about is those uh-oh moments. Next up, and we've got the weak spot Detector scope. Increased damage inflicted on enemy targets by 5% for 5 seconds, and stacks up to 5 times. Basically, as long as you're doing a lot of damage to a target over quite a short period of time, you're going to get another 25% increase. Really good on weapon builds, and in general a nice one to pick up on quite a lot of builds. One to probably look at if you're doing quite a bit of damage at a fast rate. For example, you've got fast rate of fire. Next up, and a really easy one to put in any single build, any person, any character, this one right here is going to boost your DPS, and that's the critical chip. Increase crit hit chance by 15%. Anytime you boost your crit hit chance, your damage is going to go up considerably. Even if you haven't spec'd too much into your crit damage, it doesn't matter, it's going to boost what's already there. Crit hit chance is always massive on any game you play, and anytime you have a chance to boost it, it's well worth doing. Critical chip is a nice easy one to put in any build to boost your DPS significantly. Next up, and I'm going to class these as all pretty much the same, and that's just any of the boxes that you want to go for. So if you've got the blood box, it's going to be after acquiring a relic, 50% increase to weapon power until 100 kills, and 25% increase to weapon power afterwards, meaning that this, along with the others, depending on what you're going for example the critical box, after acquiring a relic, 100% increase to crit damage until 100 kills, 50% afterwards. If you get these later on, it works in your favour, because you're trying to not get those 100 kills. Obviously the first one's going to be for your weapon damage, the next one's going to be for your skill, after that's defense, and the last one is down to your critical damage. All amazing if you can pick them up later on, because then you're not going to have it go down to that last stage, it's going to stay at the first stage. Can be really good on that third galaxy as well. Pretty much the complete opposite to that, and you've got the knives. So just over here you've got the blood knife, then you've got the power knife, defense knife, and of course finishing off with the critical knife. This gives you 0.5% crit damage increase for every kill, maxing out at 100%. All of them max out when you've hit 100 kills, and it basically means that the more enemies you're killing, the better it is. So not something you'll probably pick up in that last galaxy, but for Symphonia these are absolutely amazing. As long as you pick them up early enough to get those 100 kills, you're going to get a big boost to whatever you're aiming for. Coming up next, and we've got Dodgegreaves. For any class that is really good and survivable and doesn't like to get hit a lot, this is going to give you a massive boost to your damage because of that critical hit. Its critical hit chance is 25% for 5 seconds if no damage is taken for 5 seconds. If you're someone that doesn't like taking damage, if you keep a little bit of distance and don't close the gap quite as much as some of the tanks and such, this may be one to look out for. 25% critical chance I believe is the max in game currently on any relic, and this one is just exceptional. Especially if you're actually speccing into that crit build, this one is one of the best ones you can have in game. Well worth a look and can boost your damage considerably. Now finally, this one, if you already know about it, you know it's got to be on the list. If you haven't tried this yet, trust me, you're going to want to after this. Shield Critical Scope. This right here is, I believe, probably the best relic in the game at the moment. Obviously there'll be a few that other people really enjoy using, but this one, just for its utility, is second to none. Generates a shield equivalent to 5% of max HP for 3 seconds when a critical hit lands on a target. Now that might sound absolutely awful, but trust me, use this in game and it is going to boost your survivability through the roof. Especially if you're going down that crit path, able to activate this as much as you can, you're gonna have a shield at all times almost. When it gets knocked off by any of the enemy's skills as such, or anything such as that, just start shooting them, use a skill, use whatever you want in order to get this back. If you've got a really good build, you can have that shield up almost constantly. Even with it getting knocked down, you can get it straight back up, and it just saves you an absolute abundance of health and saves you an abundance of falling over. One of, if not the very best relic in the game currently, and I can see this one getting a slight nerf because your survivability will go through the roof with this on because it is just that good.
Overtime.
Now, as a little added bonus, and this one's probably more aimed towards the tankier types again, but the Attack Defender. It increases attack power by 2 when taking damage and stacks 100 times. As far as I can see, this is the biggest increase to your attack power by any relic, by 200 when it maxes out. Absolutely amazing, and if you're playing those tankier classes or someone that can afford to be hit, this is going to generate a lot of additional power which will transfer into your damage and just work towards a really stronger build in order to get that damage up. Great for DPSing, great for tanks, great in order to get a little bit more from your build at no extra cost other than needing to get punched in the face a little bit. Right, you guys and girls, as always, I hope that's helped a few of you out. My next video is going to be the tier 3 list, but as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care, I'll see you on the next day.